Hi everyone, Dr. Becky here with drbeckyfitness.com. Today we're going to talk about losing weight over the age of 50. Now, in a moment of full disclosure, I have to say that I haven't quite reached 50 yet. I have about a year to go, but I'm pretty close, and I am close enough to appreciate how things change when we reach this age. Things that change include our beliefs. I know for myself when I was younger, my mantra was more of a go, 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 push, 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 get your goals done type of a mentality. Nowadays, it's more of a, life is short. I want to enjoy things. Our focus might change. When I was younger, it was much more of a vanity thing that I was after, and my health was kind of a secondary thought. Now, when you get into your 50s, you know what, we still want to look good, but not at the expense of our health. And of course, we can't talk about losing weight over the age of 50 without talking about hormones, because menopause, especially for our women viewers, is a big part of life at this stage of the game. Beverly Burmeyer, I believe it is, wrote a really nice piece about hormones and menopause and why it contributes to weight gain. And two of the things that she talked about in that article were insulin resistance and estrogen production and how they change at this age. Insulin resistance, insulin is a hormone that helps us to manage our energy. When your cells are resistant to insulin, they won't take up sugar as well. And what that does is it pushes sugar into fat storage, so it encourages fat storage when we're insulin resistant, and it also increases appetite because our body doesn't feel like we're getting enough. Another thing that happens is estrogen production changes. When we're younger, the ovaries take over most of the estrogen production. Well, that doesn't happen after we reach menopause. So the body has to turn to different places to try to get its estrogen. One of the surprising places that estrogen is produced is from our fat cells. So the body naturally wants to, in women, increase fat storage after menopause because it wants more estrogen, which kind of stinks, but it is what it is. So we have to look at weight loss a little bit differently than we used to. Now, I wrote down some of the old ways that we might have pursued health when we were younger. One of those is willpower. Willpower is a fragile thing. It's not something that we can really rely on for the long haul if we have a lot of weight to lose. Vanessa Van Edwards, over on her blog, wrote an article about the science of willpower. And I like the analogy she used of willpower as a muscle. If we think of our willpower as a muscle, if you work your muscles, they get fatigued. Well, willpower works the same way. So every time that we must engage our willpower throughout the day, anything that stresses us out a little bit and we bite our tongue, you have that employee that you work with or that coworker that you work with that is always telling those jokes, and you bite your tongue, or you walk past the candy dish and you don't put your hand in and grab out a candy, or you say no thank you to the cake because you're trying to be good, right? All of those things chip away at our willpower throughout the day. And if we have too many chips out of our willpower muscle, we don't have any strength at the end of the day, and that can lead to no good. So we can't rely on willpower to get us to our goal. Over-exercise, long duration exercise, very intense exercise, especially if we just jump right into it, is a physical stress on the body. Ben Greenfield wrote an interesting article about this and how exercise and over-exercise can actually lead to weight gain, which is, of course, what we are trying to do the opposite of. And in the article, he points to the fact that heavy exercise, that intensity and that long exercise is actually a physical stress. Now, when your body's under stress, the adrenal glands, the little glands that sit on top of your kidneys, pump out hormones. These are your fight or flight type of hormones to help you deal with the stress. Well, one of those hormones that comes from the adrenal gland is cortisol. And cortisol, when that's being highly produced for a chronic time, will lead to fluid retention, weight gain, and fat storage. So overdoing it on exercise can have the opposite effects. Crazy diets. We used to get away with some crazy diets, or diets, I should say, that take over your life. And this can seem almost counterintuitive to some people, I guess I would say, because we think that in order to accomplish this goal, in order to get this weight off, we've got to really invest ourselves. So we take on these crazy diet plans where we have to weigh and measure everything. And that we have to buy these expensive specialty products and just have it take over our lives. Well, actually, the opposite has been found to be effective. When we have a very complicated diet plan, what the research shows is that we actually give up on it. And it's much less likely that we're going to reach our goal. So that kind of moves us into the new way to lose weight when we're over 50. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you know my 3 E's: enjoyable, easy to follow, and effective. Well, they apply here as well. Enjoyable. So when we get to be over 50, you know what? Life, it needs to be enjoyed. There's a lot of indulgences in life. There's a lot of enjoyment that comes from food, cooking with people, cooking for people. We can't ignore that. I've maintained a 50-pound weight loss for well over 15 years now. I don't know how long it's been. I still eat birthday cake, and I say that, and I almost say it in like a confession, which it shouldn't be. It's enjoyable. There's enjoyment to having those little splurges. But here's the deal: when I was 50 pounds overweight, I could find a reason to eat birthday cake every single day. I don't do that anymore. When you want to enjoy life and live in a healthy body, well, you have to take those treats and manage them. One thing I do for that is I set up short-term goals. So I might look at my month coming up, and I might find some places in my schedule where I want my eating to be a little bit looser. Maybe we have a party coming up or something like that. And by allowing myself those little times to loosen up my diet, it makes it easier for me to stick to my diet on the more normal days. So it might be something that you want to try. Give yourself a little bit of leeway, and you'll find that you're more apt to stick with being a little bit more strict on the days that on the other days. Along with enjoyable, I wanted to mention Sarah Williams wrote a really nice piece. If faith is part of your life, her article is a nice one. I'll leave a link here to help you kind of draw that line between vanity and health, and find maybe a better reason to pursue health and look at it from a different perspective. Easy to follow. Like I said, when a diet is complicated, we are less likely to follow through with it. That's why I teach 4 daily habits. Just 4 things that really, these 4 things are effective enough, so we can talk about both of these at the same time, to eliminate 80% of your diet's problems. Basically, in a nutshell, what the 4 habits, and I have a video series over my website that I'll leave a link for here, but basically what they boil down to is a way to limit the big diet destroyer, which is sugar, and boost your biggest diet helper, which is fiber. The closer you can get in your day to eliminating sugar, getting down to 0, and boosting fiber, up to about 30 grams is a good, or even a little bit higher, is going to be beneficial. So what does that look like for you? How can you apply this? Well, 0 sugar, that's pretty basic, right? So don't eat things with added sugar. Don't drink sodas. If it's in a packaged food, if sugar is one of the top 3 ingredients, don't eat it. That's kind of my rule for zero sugar. What does 30 grams of fiber look like? Well, in the morning, think about eating fruit. At lunch, eat a big salad with beans and nuts and seeds on it. At dinner time, have a large portion of side portion of vegetables. That will get you pretty darn close to 30 grams of fiber. Now, if you can just do those 2 things, you're going to find that weight comes off steadily. It doesn't take over your life, so it still allows you to live. It still allows you to go out to eat with your friends. It's enjoyable, easy to follow, and effective. So if you would like to get my 4 daily habits, they incorporate all of that for you in a nutshell. It's available over at my website in a free video series. Just go over to www.drbeckyfitness.com and you'll find those. Otherwise, I want to thank you for watching through the video. If you enjoyed these tips and you would like more, please click the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.